Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxley, the technical trader at thetechtrader.com. These are the charts of the day. It's Thursday night, the 25th of February. Well, that was a pretty darn good comeback. I feel like I'm Groundhog Day because the market comes down early and then rallies the rest of the day, similar to yesterday. Yesterday was even a bigger drop, but it was a nice rally today, and the market. I got to tell you, folks, I want to stop and just give you my take on something. After hearing all this negativity and all the, and my comments last week were that the market doesn't accommodate the majority, I kind of feel vindicated. But I'm also seeing hundreds, and I mean hundreds of stocks forming V-bottoms and or double bottoms, and some pretty interesting characteristics like even island reversals, things of that nature, which indicate to me this isn't just a short rally. This isn't a small rally. I think Tom DeMark has it wrong. I think a lot of people have it wrong. Now let's see if I'm wrong or not. But it's interesting that we broke out late today. Now we've seen a lot of breakouts followed by no follow through. Tomorrow, that's what's important, and it is a Friday, so we'll see what we get. Let's start off with alarm. Now this was a recent IPO back in like July, and it came down to around the 11-12 range, jumped up to 19, almost 20, backed off to 14, a nice orderly five-way corrective, and then moved up. Today it was up another 53 cents or 3%, but after hours, and the reason why this red line's there, it's trading another nearly 4 points higher on a very, very strong report, very strong. And it tells me that this is now going to be gapping up, and it may run tomorrow to 23, 24. You should keep an eye on that one for tomorrow. There's 19 days to cover for this new recent IPO. It feels like that could be a really intriguing day trade tomorrow. We'll keep close tabs on it. And ANFI, which is been highlighted several times, continues to move. They're up only another 36 cents or 3%, but it feels like it's a stock that wants to be 14.5 and then 18, 19. We'll see. 6.3 days to cover. COT. Well, I've been talking about this for the last week or two, and look at that move. The stock went up for like 9 days in a row. But today was a key day as it broke out on 1.2 million across the double top into multi-year high territory. I think it's an 8 or 10-year high. Yeah, the highest level since 06. And my next target is up here, first at 15, and then the lateral resistance up at 18. So keep an eye on this one. I'd like to see a pullback consolidation, but it may be a swing trade at some point. What a day for Domino's Pizza. It was a great day trade. Look at this pattern. Popped and ran all day. Very nice. Now in the daily chart, that breakaway gap took it out above everything with a strong report. The stock ran up on 4.7 million and traded up to 133.92 before backing off a point, but still up 15.29. 13% gain. There's still 6.3 days to cover. This may very well see 140.45 short term. DRII. Well, interesting pattern has developed here as it broke out, got to resistance, backed off to the 50. I'm going to watch this tomorrow because 7.7 million is very unusual for the stock, and something may be up. At this point, if it does make additional upside, I'm looking for move to the high 20s. DYN, a nice surge on this one today. Took it up about another $1.17 or 14%. So that's 3 days in a row, moving up sharply. And you can see that it's right at resistance. So any pullback from here, after strong volume on the upside, wouldn't surprise me, but I think it's going to make a run towards the top of the channel around 11, 11.5. That's my next target. ERII. Well, we've been watching for this stock to break out of this pattern. It popped a week ago and then went sideways for a week and consolidated right above the 10 and 21-day moving averages as they crossed over. You can see where the platform of support held for about 5 sessions right through there. And it reversed yesterday and popped today right through the 50 and through lateral resistance. Looking for a move to 770, followed by an additional move all the way up towards 9.5 eventually. We need to see better volume though. Volume was less than 500,000, and it still is 9.1 days to cover short. Well, I wanted to show you FAS because this is the financials ultra long. As you can see, triple bull by the way. As you can see, the stock came down with a breakaway gap down, exhaustion gap, selling gap on big volume, and then a gap back up again, leaving an island. Island reversals are very powerful and usually lead to much higher levels. After the pop and pullback, I wanted to see if it held the neckline, which it did, and now I'm looking for the shoulder line, excuse me. I'm looking for a move to 22 and then 24. Those are my targets. First Solar, spectacularly, running beautifully. Broke the wedge yesterday with a big pop. Today another 280 or 4%, 5.1 million. It looks to me like if it can get up through this level, it's going to hold it back up here. The high was around 74 and 3/4, just under 75. If it gets through there, we're looking at an $80, $83 stock. GDOT, Green Dot had a nice report and popped out. 1.2 million traded, but more importantly, the major wedge that's been forming for a year and a half, it was broken. It looks to me like there's a good shot at getting this up to test the spike high, just under 22 short term, and then maybe higher down the road. There's 7.5 days to cover on this one. GLOG, a nice V bottom with a right-handed extended V. Most importantly, the declining tops line, which connected beautifully right here, was broken today. Take a look at the pop through the 50 and the declining tops and lateral resistance. So that zone of resistance may have been taken out today with 1.1 million, up 9.27%, on over 1 million shares. 6.7 days to cover, and I'm sure some of them covered today, but I can see the stock moving quickly up towards the 10.5 range. And if we get any kind of real energy on it, secondary target is about just under 13. GTLS had a spectacular pop today in a breakaway gap on 2.1 million, up 16%. There's still 5.2 days to cover according to this, and the major declining tops line, the next lateral resistance comes in around 23.5. I suspect that gets tested short term. Secondary target, 25.5. KEYW, big move today. Now looking back on this chart, you'll see it's been down dramatically from the mid-20s to get down there 4. Although in the last 4 sessions, it's popped from about 420 up to today's high at 648, so about a 50% pop. In particular, a 36.6% move. This was a percent gain leader on my board today. There is a little bit of resistance right in that zone, so if it gets through it, it can pop into the 7.5, even as high as 8.5 zone, where there's a triple top. If it does get up there, I'd be a seller into that spike up. If it does pull back, the support's around 5.5, and I'd be looking to see a nice orderly retrace perhaps. LMAT, one of my favorites from last year, but got hammered and broke support here. It snapped back with a vengeance today. As you can see, spiking up $1.79 or 13.5%. Volume wasn't big. It doesn't trade a lot, but it did pop through resistance and back down just below it. So what I want to see is, can this stock take out that zone and then make a run up towards 17 and 18.5. 6.36 days to cover. Mattel following through today, up another 82 cents or 2.5%, 4 million. Volume isn't as big as I'd like to see. Technicals aren't as moving as much I'd like to see. But a really strong move in here and there, especially with the Hasbro news or rumors. I still think we got a shot at getting into the high 30s on this. Well, there's Nugget. Now, Nugget had technically an inside day because the high and low were within the range of that range, but it did close at the upper end of the range. The volume was decent. The OBV is moving up. I just don't feel like this is done yet. I think it can still explode in here. A lot of traders are watching this one closely to trade it. So I think if you get this above the yesterday's high 62.90. So let's say above 63, she flies. Ruger, well, along with Smith & Wesson, gun manufacturers are doing very well. Look at this pop today across key resistance across this line here. It may very well make an attempt to get up into the mid-80s at this point. But let's start with it move up towards the top of the channel. Comes in around 79.80. Smith & Wesson's the other one. An accelerated channel. Came down to support and bounce. We're near resistance, but my target's 30. 29.30 zone up there. TRG. Well, I want to show you this pattern because there's a couple oil stocks that have been looking quite interesting. This one intrigues me. You take a look at the volume and the OBV in the last few sessions and the way it moved up to resistance here, 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 and again today. But today took out this level, and that intrigued me very much. I like when I see 4 or 5 day resistance level taken out. Look where it closed, right underneath the 50. If this should get up above 25 3/4, it can run first to about 28 and then to 32. So keep an eye on this one for potential swing trade. Some of these oils are turning around. It's had a double bottom down here, so a nice base. Big volume on a move up. Looks promising. Trox had a nice pop today. You can see how the pattern here broke the mini base, big volume in the last 2 sessions. There is some resistance at just under 5, which would be the near-term target. The secondary target would have to be right about 620, something like that. 10.3 days to cover on this one. To me, with a big spike, took out like a rounding bottom or head and shoulders, and it looks to me like there's a little resistance at 20, but my ultimate target is up around 22, 22 and a half. And last day's win continues to set up a beautiful pattern. Nice base, high volume surge breakout, and a rising flag. Feels like this is going to be 90, 92, 94, something like that over the next week or two, if not sooner. Well, that's it for tonight, everybody. Let's have another good day tomorrow. Good night.